Oh, here we are. It is middle of hot summer, right?
It is the
It is.
middle of the dog days
Is
of
it
summer, they
August?
call it.
No, it's not August yet.
It
No,
is no,
it's
July
almost. But
29th.
man, it feels
Almost.
like August, right?
It does. It
Do you,
does
kn-
almost.
do you know what other day it is right now, Nashi? Do you know?
Let me think. Let me think. It's Saturday.
It's Saturday, but as they bring the video in, it's a black T-shirt with white lettering day. Apparently,
We apparently have a couple of new sponsors.
Mine's reversed. You can't sell. Mine says the dog father.
Mine. I guess you can read mine.
I can read yours, yeah. So if you're
right.
since it's my video on my computer I'm recording on, Discord always flips because it thinks I'm looking at my own video, right?
We had that issue when we were down in Augusta for the episode we did down there, where your video from
and this is a well-known issue. You look in the Discord forums and everyone complains about it, but Discord doesn't allow you to flip it for some reason. So
it is,
it is what it is.
Such a bad piece of software.
Yeah. What's really funny is the company that you work for,
yes,
and the company that I work for, we are actually competitors in some areas. Specifically collaboration, and I don't work for the collaboration. You don't work for their collaboration, and we compete against Discord, as do you. And here we are using it.
we get all these compete, like, here's our play against Discord kind of
totally
stuff for our compete teams, and we use it all the time. So
here we are doing our show on it. Yeah. All right.
How are you? How's your week been?
Oh man, I tell you what, I probably had one of the worst weeks. There was one of those weeks where just nothing went right or according to plan. Okay, and it was one of those things you're like, well, what else can go wrong? And there we go. That's what else went wrong. Here it is.
Is it one of those ones where, like, usually for me, like most everybody, those things come in threes, and you're like, okay, the third thing has happened. You're like, and then the fourth thing happens, then the fifth.
Yes, yeah, no, it was definitely more than three things. That's for sure. It was.
I'm sorry. Anything we need to get out here? Do we need to get our have Steve put shrink music on and have?
I could literally take the whole show on complaining about my week, but what good's it gonna do, right?
We can get the psychiatrist on here and have him walk you through your week.
Yeah, I might need it. I might need it. I might need it. Yes. So,
well,
but
the week's over. That's a good thing.
Yeah, the week's over, and I'm having a beer. So, which brings us to our next.
You played golf. Now, I will tell you, I felt a little bad for you this morning. Before we jump in, I felt a little bad for you because you and I talk very frequently, obviously, and I knew that you were traveling in the first part of the week for work.
Yeah.
And we all can empathize with the amount of time it takes to travel and be with your customers and all that kind of stuff, where you're not at home in front of your Discord all the time, staying up to date. So when the whole thing erupted on Monday about courses being ready and is someone actually doing Kapalua and what's going to be first, Kapalua or Pebble? I don't even know if you saw that entire exchange.
Yeah, I did.
But I felt bad. I'm like, the poor guy can't even defend himself because he's stuck in a customer meeting.
Yeah, it is what it is, and and I was expecting to make some progress on that this weekend. And that didn't happen because some other shit happened that prevented me, that screwed up kind of me having, my wife was supposed to be gone until tomorrow. I expected to play golf today and then have the whole night to not only review courses, but actually work on mine and then record at some point. And now they're home because something else went haywire. So,
okay. So if we were to assign a letter in the name Kapalua, Kapal, I can't remember how to spell it, and each letter is amount of progress. Are you through the KAP?
So, what do you mean by progress? Because I mean, are you talking to? Because the significant piece of that was the LiDAR problem.
Right. No, and that's all done though. I mean,
that's all done.
You're doing Unity and Blender work and things like that.
Yeah. Well, the splining's all done. The Blender work's all done. The clubhouse is done. All houses, that was a big project because there's some really big houses.
Project. You built a bunch of houses.
I might have to do some updates on that based on what I saw today, and we'll maybe talk about that a little later on. I'm actually pretty close, I think, in what I have been doing over the past several months is
Yeah,
keeping my eye on people's vegetation, because Kapalua's vegetation is completely different than what I'm used to.
it
In
is.
particular, they have these shoot, I forget the name of them. One of the names is called Cook Pines. They're very
Okay. Yeah.
distinctive,
Yeah.
really
They have a
tall, and
very tall
yes,
and narrow. Yep.
I
I know.
actually went.
I've played Kapalua, so I know
Yeah,
exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
that was one of the reasons I went out and learned Speed Tree, because I knew I was going to have to create those trees.
Got
Those
it.
trees are done. They've been created. So those are
Nice.
done. But
Nice.
I'm still trying to find low level vegetation stuff that I need.
Okay.
So and I hate, that's my least favorite part of course building, is finding vegetation that I need. Oh, there's this tree. Let me go look for it.
Well, the trees, I think, for me, I think trees make a lot of sense. I agree. I think trees you see far off in the distance. Where I get myself into a rabbit hole is I spend a ton of time looking at ground vegetation.
Yes.
And to be honest with you,
Yes.
most of the time it's on the very edges of the course. Now
Yes.
we see it building it in a lot of other places, but in
Yeah.
GS Pro, when you're going tee to
And
green, you
yeah,
know,
yeah. And here's my challenge. Well, my challenge is all the courses I've built up to this point, and around where I live in Pennsylvania, we have all this wispy
yeah,
vegetation, right? Stalky
yep,
stuff.
yep.
Kapaloo, I think, feels like it's a lot of big leaf. You know.
I tell you what, I have some stuff that I think will help you when I built the course on the Big Island.
Okay. Yeah, that would be
So
great.
we'll talk
Yeah.
offline on some of that.
Yeah.
It's ground
Yeah.
vegetation stuff that
Oh,
I think can
and some
make.
other things that are done. The ocean is done.
Oh, good.
The island that you see far out in the distance,
Hmm.
that's
Yep,
done.
yep.
Um,
Put some whales out there.
no, but I could. I probably. Well, I don't know if
Should
you'd
put some.
see them, because you're pretty. Like, I have to make them pretty big for people to see. Maybe, I don't know. I'll have to play with that.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
What I haven't done, but I do want to do is like a little bit of fog out on that island, low level cloud stuff.
Yep. You
So
know, as soon as you're done, then you can actually do the sister course, the Bay course, because you already have all the assets. You just have to get the LiDAR done again.
maybe I'm not sure if I have.
And that one goes right down to the ocean. And one of the par threes, I think it may be the only par three in Hawaii that you hit over the ocean. The ocean comes
Yeah.
in from the back tees. You've got to hit over the ocean to get it onto the green. It's a
Yeah, I
great, beautiful
think
hole.
after this is I'm going to be moving on to Old Course,
Oh, of course, yeah, yeah.
and then I have a passion project I want to do after that.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. I think
So
I know what you're talking about.
yeah, maybe you do. I
Yeah,
don't know.
maybe we talked
Um,
about it in the past.
okay.
Cool.
So
Sorry, I
are you
digress.
drinking?
That
Are
was
you
a lot.
drinking? Yeah, that
I
was
am drinking. I'm going to
okay.
surprise you.
Oh, you are. Okay.
I am.
Do you want to tell you what? You start going, because I'm drinking a beer and I need another beer and I need to go get out of the fridge. I can listen on
You
my
can listen and
headphones.
I'll talk. So
Yeah.
you may fall down the stairs
Yes, and I am in my
because
pajamas, so when I stand up, people are going to see my pajamas. It's like a typical
wonderful.
work day, right?
It is seven
They,
o'clock in the evening.
my
You are in your
pajamas.
PJs. Nice on Saturday. Everybody must be out of
I
town.
golfed. It was hot. I took a shower, and I was like, I'm not getting dressed again. So,
It's all good. It's all
yeah.
good. We're all friends. I'm gonna surprise you because I think for the first time since we have started doing this, I'm drinking a beer. I am not
Ooh.
drinking a bourbon. I'm not the biggest beer connoisseur, obviously, but we have a fridge in the garage, and every time friends come over and they just leave beer, and I reached in, and I've never heard of this before. If maybe somebody's listening has, it's Lagunitas
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
this is a
Yeah, yeah.
little something ale.
I've had that.
It's actually really good. So that's what
Yes.
I'm drinking. I'm
They
drinking a beer.
make, I
It's
believe they also make something called a longboard lager or longboard
Oh, are they
pilsner,
longboard? Okay, I've had longboard. Yeah.
which is really good. I think that's the company. But yes, I've heard of them. That's good. That's a good brewery.
It's so stinking hot out there. It's
Uh,
it's too hot in the middle of the day for bourbon. So it's a good cold
yeah,
beer.
I feel you. Yeah. Um,
What do you
I
got?
am drinking. So I found something. Believe it or not, no, I said I had a bad week. Even getting this beer was hard. So I'm in Pennsylvania, and we got these freaking weird liquor laws, right? Well,
Yep, yep.
now we can get by individuals. So our grocery store sells beer. So I went in there, but you can't buy it at the checkout. You have to go to a special register to check out. Okay,
Why?
because it's Pennsylvania. Like
I
if you
mean,
buy it's it's so weird. The beer and liquor are in the middle of the store, but there's literally a special register that you have to check out at for just your beer and liquor. You can't take it to the registers up front.
And it's not, is it the register at the center of the store where the beer and wine is? So you like
Yes,
leave the
it's
check out
this
right
little
there.
register in the middle. Then
Dumb.
they give you a receipt, you put it on your beer and you put it in your cart and then you do the rest of your shopping and then
Dumb.
leave. Hear me, yes. So I go and I grab this beer, which I'll talk about in a second. I go to the register and there's nobody there. I'm like looking
You're
around
like thumbing your fingers like
and I'm
hello.
kind of in a hurry. It was last
Yeah.
night when I was trying to take my daughters to the concert
Yeah.
and I'm like, oh my God, I see there's nobody around. So I leave the beers at the register because I'm like, well, I'm gonna go do my shopping and then I'll swing by here and see if someone's there. So I go get some stuff, I swing by, there's no one there. It's like the end of my trip. So I go back to the register, my beers are still sitting there, there's nobody there, and I finally have to walk around. I go to someone in the produce section, I was like, can I buy this stuff? And they're like, they get on the little thing, need somebody to
Call
check.
somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, okay,
Yeah.
so I am drinking. This is called a Blood Orange IPA,
Oh,
and it's called Brew Free or Die Blood Orange IPA, and it's by a brewery called 21st Amendment Brewery. Do you know what the 21st
it's
Amendment is?
I don't remember. What's the 21st Amendment?
It's the Repeal of
Or
Prohibition.
Repeal the Prohibition Act.
So that's a
Yeah, that's
great
exactly
name. So
right.
I saw
Yeah,
that.
that's a
That's
great
very
name.
creative.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a great name.
Now, when I first tried it, I wasn't a fan, but it's growing on me.
I will
Um,
tell you, it's funny you say that. I earlier this week we got a phone call. I had some family that apparently is up in Breckenridge, and I like that. It looks good. And they said, "Hey, can you want to meet for dinner?" And I wasn't driving to Breckenridge, so we decided to meet in a little town halfway between Denver and Breckenridge called Idaho Springs. It's like halfway up the mountain. And by the way, we left Denver. It was 99 degrees. 25 minutes later, we got in Idaho Springs, or 40 minutes later by the time traffic got Idaho Springs. It was 57 degrees, so it's just beautiful up in the mountains. And the reason I say that is I sat down at the pizza place and ordered a beer because it was hot, and I had a Breckenridge Brewery blood orange beer. Is my first time I've ever even had or heard of a blood orange beer. And here there's two in
yeah, I
3
like
days.
blood orange. Like I've had seltzers and
Yeah.
other drinks, and I've always
Yep.
liked them. So I was like, oh, sounds good. So I'm drinking it, and it is growing on me. When I was like, nah, but now I'm starting to like it a little
Same.
bit.
First couple sips, I was like, but then it kind of grew on me as it went through. So funny. Blood orange is the fruit of the week.
Yes, here we go. Because that's my week was very bloody, so I feel like I'm all beat
Steve,
up.
Steve needs to cue up blood orange music. I don't know what it is, but
Yeah,
some sort of
something
blood
like
orange music.
something just means like deadly, right?
Some kind of fruity music. I don't know, like bananas squishing through your toes. I don't know. Between Hawaii talk and blood orange talk,
And then our favorite segment of the week, which is our
Or fun tracker.
we're gonna maybe have to change that to our bourbon and IPA fun tracker, right?
Maybe
Or
we'll
beer
see.
tracker, or
See.
bourbon beer tracker. So we're
Is it
so
going in reverse?
no, it's not going in reverse, but when I captured this, I felt like waiting just a few minutes longer to see if we could get to $75.
Hold on, let me go refresh a few times and see if we can. This is the
I just want to
longest.
be yeah.
I think you can actually. I think paint would dry quicker than us getting to $100.
Probably right. Yeah.
We're the worst YouTubers in history.
But it's also, I think we started this at the worst time. Like our views have gone down just because of the summer, and maybe the winter things will go up
Maybe
again.
they'll
Who
come back
knows?
up.
Yeah.
Or they've gone down because they're just tired of listening to us.
Yeah, whatever.
Who knows?
Yeah. And
We
then,
know we got a handful of diehards out there that'll
yeah.
listen, so we'll keep it going. All right.
And
You
then,
have a golf story. I do not. I did not
you don't
play
have a
at
golf
all this
story.
week.
Mine's
Nope.
more of like a long-term trendy story, which is, so we talked and along with the crappy week I've had over the past like 3 or 4 weeks, my golf game has like gone downhill. For those of you who don't know, I started playing golf 3 years ago, and my handicap really hasn't changed. I mean, maybe
You're what? What are you? What handicap
I'm
are
an
you right
18 and a half.
Okay, got it.
I think I started at like 21, and that immediately kind of went down to like, I think at one point I was maybe high 17s. but now I'm like an 18 and a half, and I've had some really bad rounds recently. I started thought like a couple months ago that I was kind of like, hey, I think I'm solidly in the 90s now, and maybe once in a while I'll have a round in the hundreds.
Yep.
Past month I had nothing but 100s, and it started
Mhm.
getting very frustrating. Um, there
And
was
you do the Shanky what once a week or once every two
once
weeks
every
or something?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. Okay,
Yes.
got it.
And I'm not sure, and have to my last lesson in my package is coming up, and I have to rethink. I'm like, I think he's really good. I'm just not sure if that method, like the
Sure.
virtual method, do I need to get out onto a course or some real grass or something like and do something different? I don't know. So I have to
It's
rethink that.
worth thinking. We could talk
Yeah.
offline. I have my own.
Yeah.
I think Shanky is great. I know I've never used him. I've heard nothing but great
Yeah.
things, okay, from everybody. So I think it's great. I do think it's a good valid question of virtual versus in person. I personally prefer meeting with my
Yeah.
coach in person at the course on grass. And then when it's wintertime here, we go. She has her own subscription to a sim bay or a swing
Yeah.
a bay. We do it there. So
Yeah. So we can talk. I just don't know if I
yep.
have any good options locally, honestly, which is anyway. So I had a really bad month, not hitting well at all, and you know, and so then I went out today, and this is where golf really fucks with your head. And I didn't have a great round today. As a matter of fact, I played like 3 rounds at one point over the past month. I didn't even have a par in 3 rounds.
That hurts. That hurts.
That really hurts, right?
Yep.
But today I went out and I shot a 94, which is like
Right.
finally I'm getting back in the right direction.
Back
Still
into
at the
yep.
number I need to be, but at least it's under 100. But this is what golf does. The fuck, I had like these two kind of drives today. I had a 304-yard drive and a 306-yard drive, just absolutely bombs.
Well, you listen. You have a big swing.
That's a
I've
big
seen
swing for me though, even.
I've seen 158 mile an hour ball speed out of you when we played in the sim. I've
Yeah.
seen you can hit the ball. And when you do, you get results like this. That's great.
Now 18, that was an angry drive.
Yeah.
Because we had talked and you said, hey, work on your tempo and, aim for the middle of the fairway.
Yep.
2 holes right before this one, my buddies get up and they're taking this hero shot where you have to kind of go, it's a dogleg right. And they're like, oh, we're going up over those trees, cutting off the
Why?
corner here because you can, right?
Why?
And I said, something, I'm going to take my 6 and I'm going to
Okay.
lay up around 190
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah. Like
and then I'm going to have a straight shot into the pin. It'll be a little bit, I'll probably have like 150, 160 yard approach. So those guys, the first guy goes and he hits it. It looks like he's he's going to have a pretty good time with that shot.
okay.
Next guy hits it. He gets hung up in the tree. He might find it over there, whatever.
Yep.
Next guy hits it and he kind of hits it short of the trees and he's going to be blocked out. So I get up there with my 6 and the last to go. And what do? I yank it left into the woods.
Oh, wait, this is on 18 or this is on your
No, this
last
is
the 2 holes earlier?
16. 16. I don't
16.
even have
Got
it
it.
up here.
Yep.
So at
Yep.
that point, I'm like, that's what freaking smart golf gets me. Fuck this, So when I go to 18, those guys are all in 18 with like laying up here, like short. I'm like, no, I'm hitting driver. Screw it. And I
I mean,
drove it all
my
the way
first
down.
thought when I see your picture on 18, my first thought was dumbass.
Yeah.
Put the damn driver away,
Yes.
and you need to hit it no more than I mean. It's from this
Oh,
screenshot. It's a 350-yard hole. You
yeah,
need
I
to hit
should
it
have put it
about
like down
200
here, right?
yards.
But I
Yeah,
was just angry and
yeah, I hear you. I hear you. It's yeah, I'm with you.
so everything you said about tempo and smart, I was like, no, last hole, screw it, go.
The funny thing is, you probably still thought about your tempo. You just like
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
you just got it all connected. You got the club face square. You got the
Yeah.
path good, and look what you
Nine
ended with
times out of
little.
10, though, that doesn't happen, right?
I know. But the one time it does, it gets you coming back for the next round.
Exactly. So that's what
Yeah.
golf does to you. Anyway, as I'm learning, because
Are
I'm only
you?
3.
I know you had a little issue with your Garmin watch, but overall, like now that you can see your round you're playing, how do you like looking at your results from the round you played with the watch and the stats and stuff?
So I do. I like to look at stats. So I had
Yep.
Arcos before this with the sensors, and I I think we talked. I just got tired of that, so I switched to this.
Yep.
I have to say that with the sensors and the watch, this is about as seamless. I even had
Yeah.
another system before that had sensors. This is like my third one.
Mhm.
This is probably the best experience I've had so far, barring the first 3 rounds not working correctly, but that was a bug on their part.
App
That
issue,
yeah,
yeah.
it was an app issue. I got figured out. Today was pretty. It was pretty good. I have to
Yeah.
say, I was
It's
impressed.
it's interesting to me that you pair the sensors directly to the watch, so it's a pretty uniform. Like you don't even have to pull your phone out of your pocket, which is great.
No, I don't
Um,
even have the Garmin app on when I'm playing.
yeah, I don't either. I just you can use everything on the
Yeah,
watch, and
my
when you
phone
get
stays
done,
back at the cart and is playing music on the speaker.
yep. And when you get back, you just open up the app and it,
Yeah,
it syncs up from your watch, and you're good to go.
and
It's
then
nice.
the only thing that got annoying to me at one point was when I'd walk away from the cart, my watch would buzz that it disconnected from the phone. But even there's a setting on the watch that you can disable that buzzing as well. So that's even yeah.
The thing that I found really nice too is I didn't realize this when I was playing last week or so, is I think that um, when you're using the watch in golf mode, like on the course playing, it silences all notifications by default. Because I didn't get a single notification coming across. And like when I was comparing
I
it with my
think you're
Apple
right.
Watch,
I don't know
yeah,
if I
my
had
Apple
any
Watch,
today. No one bugged me today, but you might be right.
I got nonstop notifications on my Apple Watch the entire round
Yeah,
when I was using that with. So anyway, so I thought that was a nice little touch that it silences
yeah,
all that
yeah.
stuff.
I don't mind that either, for sure.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So
Good story. Good drives. Good
nice.
94. Something positive to take away from you building on it. I found I use quotes, take this week off. I'm using air quotes on here.
Yeah.
I took this week off from a just let my body rest. I've played so much golf and done so much stuff over the last 6 weeks that I wanted a week of just relaxing. Now, I have still done sim golf. I played 18 today. I played 18 yesterday in the sim, but I have not gone out and spent 4 or 5 hours on the course playing a regular round this week. So I'll pick that back up next week.
Cool. Nice.
And it feels good. Body feels much better after a few days off.
So that brings us to
We have courses.
we have courses. We had 6 courses.
We did.
First of all, we had Riverdale Dunes by BMAC. Maybe that's a zip code. I don't know. Is that look like a Colorado zip
No,
code to you?
no,
Okay.
no,
So
no. Ours
maybe,
are
or
8.
maybe he's not from Colorado and he's just kind of he's poaching on you, man.
All I know is BMAC, you're in my backyard without asking permission, dude.
So is Brighton close?
Oh
Is it
yeah, Brighton is a suburb of Denver. It's right
okay?
outside in the northwest
Is
side
this
of
a
Denver.
course
Yeah.
you've played?
No, I've never even heard of it.
Okay. All right. So
No,
this
I
isn't
played it in the
something
sim.
you would consider doing. No.
I
Okay.
no, I wouldn't. I mean, no, I
Okay.
never. Like I said, I never heard of it.
Yeah.
So I did play it in the sim. It was a fun
I
course in the
don't
sim.
remember like seeing this guy on Discord.
I don't
Since
either.
this is one of those mystery ones where a guy comes in, just watches the video, and bumps out a course.
And I think this is his first course. So if that's the
It
case,
is, yes.
congrats,
So if
congrats on
I
Blue.
don't know if he's watching the show, but hey, just pop into Discord and Tang's tag, Tang
Tang,
tag,
tang, tang.
Tang. It's Tang because it's orange and it blood orange Tang,
Yummy,
right?
yummy,
Yummy.
sweet, and it's on the moon.
Yeah. Tag Stinger Eye and say, hey, I got my first course, and make me in blue, and then you can move up and you can start doing V4 stuff. So
Yep. I will tell you that Riverdale Dunes course, and you and I were talking about this, I think would look great with a V4 course
yeah,
and using a lot of the default V4 vegetation.
yeah. So we didn't. Well, spoil the surprise. We didn't pick it as an MPAL this week, but we were both very impressed for it being a first course. Really solid work.
Yep.
So good
Fun
job,
course.
and we hopefully you'll continue to do some courses and see some more from you. So, job. Then we've got Pac-Man, our buddy Pac-Man doing Mira Vista Country Club down in
Yeah.
Texas.
Yeah.
And then we have Z Hanky.
Z
And
Hanky?
do you know what his nickname is? Z Hanky?
No.
The Tissue.
Very thin-skinned.
That's the dad joke for the day. Thank you very much.
So bad. Have another beer. Move on to the next.
Uh,
Horrible.
uh,
I
He
have
did.
nothing else. All I can think about now is like my grandfather with a handkerchief that he blows his nose into, then he puts it back into his
Yeah,
pocket, and then he
it's
offers, "Oh, here, do you need my handkerchief?"
yeah, that's the hanky. Uh,
Oh, yeah, I can't get that thought out of my head now. Stop it.
and then we had this jackass that did Todd Creek. Um,
He's guy. I mean,
yeah, that guy, that
that
guy.
guy.
Golden Ocala, California.
Ocala. It's Ocala, Florida. So
Okay,
Golden
okay,
Ocala.
okay. Golden by Run Pud.
Run Pud.
And then we had RiverWalk Skittles Challenge, which is RiverWalk to me looks like every other course in GS Pro.
I'm really sick and tired because every single course just
Every
looks like every
like
course.
you
It's all
designers should spend your time on things that like look
yep,
different and unique
yep.
and
And they all
and
look like East Coast courses too. It's like just so much East
yeah.
Coast.
Yeah, or East Coast or like New York City. They all look like New
Yeah,
York City,
they all
right?
look New York City. I mean, they're
Yeah.
all horrible. Like, yeah, they all look the same.
Yeah. So there it is. That's the one that looks like everything else. So this is I don't know what to say. Between like all the shout outs to people that you can go through here
Yeah,
and look at things, the
yeah,
fireworks that you can see here, the ambiance, the games. There's like I think I have the screenshot of all the different games you can play on here. I I'm speechless. I really don't even know where to even like. We got screenshots in here, but they just don't do it justice. You have to go play it, right?
listen, I thought that I was, and I was impressed when Argyle, when he put out the target golf,
Yes.
which was amazing and impressive.
Yes. Yeah.
And then I saw this and
Right.
went, holy crap! Like I didn't think you could elevate on top of target golf and be even better.
Yeah.
And this is even better. And this one is better for me in a couple ways. One, it's just the sheer different types of stuff to play, from cornhole to break the blocks to all. I love, my son and I were actually playing the shoot the rooftop,
Yes.
the targets on
Yes. The domes
rooftop,
on the
whatever.
roofs. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was fun. But I think the other element that made it really special for me, and I think you and those of us that are in this community, are the shout outs that he put in this build to those of us that are in the community.
What I think is great is that people that aren't part of the design community, I bet 95% of the people that play GS Pro that go in to see this will have no idea what half this stuff
They have
means.
no idea. They have no clue. No, and don't for CSIM and Ardar, don't let me forget to send you your check for the premium placement of my building.
Yes.
So I appreciate that.
Yes. Oh, and by the way, I think I owe you a rent check because I think I'm in your building. I think
You are in my building, so yes, I'll be
Yes.
sending the guys over to collect the money.
Now, I think everyone knows that this was kind of, if you want to call it, an homage to Refine. There's a game in Refine, Unicore Refine, which is but this has taken that even to a new level. Not only graphics-wise, but also the games you can play. Basically, if those of you who don't have Unicore, don't have Refine, all you're doing is like hitting out onto a barge.
Yep.
It's a glorified driving range is all it is.
Yep.
Where this one is a lot more detail, a lot more games, and a lot more fun, let's face it, than Refine is. Makes you kind of wonder, because Unicore is officially supported, so what they think when they see this.
They may ask them to build an updated version for the Refine.
Yeah, they might, or just
They
like
should
take this
do.
out and just replace it.
Unicore should do is like, hey, can we take this and put this in our software?
And what does Refine cost? I did end up buying Refine when I first got my Unicore, and I can tell you,
$1,000.
it is, yes, $1,000.
$1,000 to get your Refine, and like I think it was $3,000 to get Refine Plus, what they call it, or something.
And it doesn't even support 4K, I think.
It does not.
So here's all the games I forgot that I put in here.
Yep.
So you got darts, you got long drive, you got cornhole, break glass, elimination, roof shots, flop shots. We won't go into it. Just go in and play them. They're a lot of fun.
Just fun. It's easy to do. You just change your holes to go to the different games.
Yeah. And I think Jumbo Cornhole was, to me, one of my favorites, I have to say.
It's the best. The best ever. The absolute best ever.
Yes. Jumbo Cornhole. So all you do is you just hit like a little flop shot here, and I think he has this set up as like rough on here. So actually, your ball goes up there. It does stop. It just doesn't bounce off.
Yep.
And then of course the cornhole, it's
I mean,
what else can you do?
premium placement. I just
Yes.
thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yep. Did they reach out for permission, or do we have to file a copyright notice?
I'm going to waiver that since those guys are
Okay.
frequent visitors and watchers of one of our handful of frequent watchers. Let's waive that, please.
Okay. Oh, I'll do that. We'll do that. Thanks, guys.
Let's
That
not
was
turn up. I mean, we can count them on two hands. Let's not count. Let's not turn them off.
yes, our 10 fans. We don't want
Our
to lose
10
two of
fans.
them. And there's more homages here. So we got Mashy's like owns the whole building apparently, where
I'm the man.
where Justin, the OG blender guy, Justin, has his coffee shop, and then Blast the Burgers, Pac-Man's Poker House, and Tech Industries all have spaces inside of Mashy's
Yeah,
big
but
building there.
the difference is though, Tech Industries, like this is just his local office. He is
Yes.
Tech Industries, okay? So
Yes.
like that's what I mean. I have a building.
Yeah.
He has an industry.
And I thank God that Tech Industries and Pac-Man at Poker's House are there, because that's my entire lunch crew. That's where I get all those people from. They come down and
Well, yeah,
eat
exactly.
pokers.
You're full every day from Tech and Pax Poker House.
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
Yep. Yep. Agreed.
I'm still waiting for well, I guess we were talking about this earlier. Is that a must play or not? And so what we decided is we're putting it on the website because we want to make sure people are aware of this. And I guess we decide, yes, it's going to be a must play.
I'm gonna go one step further.
Oh, look at that. We have to put an asterisk next to it too.
No, I'm giving it a gauntlet. They didn't even ask to go through the gauntlet. There's
Okay.
nothing to review. It is so good out of the box and so unique out of the box. I think it's deserving of a gauntlet award just because it's so unique and it's so good. So
I'm good with that.
I'm nominating it between you and I for a gauntlet award.
Okay, so they get an MPAL and a gauntlet badge for
an MPAL
RiverWalk.
and a gauntlet for that. Even though it's not a course the way we.
I bet if they put that MPAL badge and the gauntlet badge on their screenshot, that at least 2 more people play it.
At least 2 more, maybe 3. So I think it's deserving. It's so good, and the work they've done. Listen, again, when you go in and have like Tech did with Whispering Pines, when you go in and you've got to actually change, you have GS Pro change some coding to make things work for you.
Yep.
It's that good.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't even talk about just the buildings and the boats and the skyscrapers.
Oh,
and the lighting.
Soupy's
And did you know you can go and change it to daytime with advanced lighting too? And then
daytime and nighttime, and
so much good
stuff. Soupy's got a yacht.
That
I hit a couple balls on too. I mean, everybody's
Cook's Cafe. I mean, everybody's out there.
Yep. Everybody's there. It's great.
All right, so on to the must plays. Thanks, guys. Thanks, R. Dyer. Thanks, CESM Golf. You guys are amazing. Appreciate it. So one of my picks, one of my first was, I love my Pac-Man courses.
We do. Pac-Man's good.
Mira Vista Country Club, Fort Worth, Texas. So if you look at the description here, one of the first things, not a short course by any means from the tips, it also calls out the country club. So of course I took a look at that. Coloring here is absolutely beautiful. And why didn't my build out here work?
I didn't touch it, I promise. Where's your build?
Well, so there should be a shot of hole 1 on here. So this is still hole 1, but it's farther down looking. It's a dog leg left. You can see it in the lower right. So I'm looking right at this 276 mark here, looking down onto the screen. Just Mashy, look away right now. Look away. Close your eyes. How many bridges are there?
5 or 6 or 7?
I think there's 6. 10.
Is there 10?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
I was counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, yep. I didn't see the
Why do they need that many bridges? Does everybody walk?
Why not? Everybody walks, and you can get across from anywhere.
No, it's cool. I thought that was really. I mean, a lot of detail in the course. Looks amazing, Pac-Man. What I liked about the course, first of all, there's some elevation in there, but not on every hole, so you do get a break from that. He did a ton of work on houses. The clubhouse looks good. So here it is from 18 looking down. This had to me, it was kind of like Murfield Village, but with more elevation, a little bit more houses around it.
Yep.
And earlier when we were talking about my work in Kapalua, I don't think I took a screenshot of it in here. Pac-Man, I'm going to reach out to you because there's a couple of really big mansions on this course. I want to know where you got those from because I need mansions for
Mm,
Kapalua. And there are a couple
mm.
on here that I would love to find out where you got them from. So I'll reach out.
Yeah, if we could share some of those assets, that'd be great. We're always looking for house assets.
They're probably posted somewhere. There's just so much stuff
Probably.
any board. But like there's like a few really big mansions on this course beyond just the normal houses. So, but the streams on here really look good. His rock work was really good. What was also impressive, if you see here, and what I captured between the water and what he did on the course, these are actually really pretty low poly rocks.
Yeah.
And when you get in close to them, they're low poly, but he was smart because he put a lot of these down, but he was really smart, probably observing what he could do with performance using somewhat low poly rocks instead of really detailed rocks. So,
Yeah, and you don't need the low poly. I mean, you don't
no,
need really high detailed rocks
no,
like that. Again, it goes back to what we were talking about earlier. It's really easy for us as designers to get caught up on things we're looking at super close in
yep,
Unity, but from the game, you're standing up on that tee. You're not going to be a foot from the rock,
no.
and
And
you
I'm
may be
even,
a little closer up front,
yeah,
but
and I in this screenshot, I'm even closer than normally the golfer's getting. So,
yeah,
yeah, and so again, more of those rocks. Good use of vert painting though. So new
yeah,
designers and people that are watching the show, what he did really good here is look at the color of his vert painting in here. And what
yeah.
does it match? It matches a hue of the rocks and it matches the vegetation he put in there, which just makes
Yep.
this look really natural. So
I'm curious if he. I'm curious if he did. I guess that is vert painting versus sat shading.
I think so.
Yes, that's vert painting.
Yeah, I don't
But
think sat
I
shading you're going to get that level of like
yeah,
granularity with how that's coming in
yeah,
and out.
yep,
And
agreed.
this was just one area that I saw this. He didn't do a lot of this vert painting, especially like he didn't need to do it around the ponds. And I don't
Right.
even know if this is. I didn't bother to go looking, even if this is like a different mesh around there or not. Luckily, I didn't hit in there to find out.
Yeah,
The
it
way
looks
my golf
really,
game
really
is.
good, and I also love if you look the green vegetation behind the rocks matches the floor of the ground that it's on, blends into it all blends very
Yeah,
nicely. Nothing stands out as oh, it shouldn't be there.
yeah. Now this out here is sat shading, but I
Yeah.
think this is vert around the rocks. If I'm wrong, Pac-Man, call us out, please. This is just another shot of the nice creek work that he did. Didn't go absolutely crazy with the rocks on there. Um, yeah, so
That's it.
congratulations on yet another MPAL, Pac-Man.
Great job, Pac-Man. Love it. Another MPOW for you, buddy.
And then Todd Creek by you, Mr. Mashi.
That was me. So
Yes.
I'm not reviewing my own course. I'll just answer questions on what you found wrong with it.
uh, I only actually found one thing wrong with it, but I think you actually fixed it already and have a release coming out.
Yeah.
First of all, make sure that we look at this, okay? And when you play, when I played this, I played it with you, and then I went back and played it again to like take a second look, and I start getting my ego because I'm striking the ball so far. Nope, it's because you're playing at altitude.
You are playing
Um,
it out. Now, there's not a lot of elevation on this course, which is
no, it is.
nice.
I
So
was
you are,
surprising when yes, when I saw where this was and we were playing, I was really expecting a lot more elevation, and it's a fairly flat course,
it
I'd
is.
say.
And most Denver courses are flat courses. Okay. So you're for mountain stuff up here, you have two big things. You've got altitude and elevation. Altitude is how far your ball's going to go, and elevation is high or low tee to green. And most courses that are on the front range are flat because it's the plains. Okay,
Yeah.
it's the high plains. Once you get up into the mountains, then you start getting into the big elevation changes like Sanctuary and Bear Dance and stuff.
Yep. Yeah. So this is T number one. Now the first thing, the two things that you notice here. One is a lot of grass, not a lot of trees. Okay, so it
Yes.
is fairly open. So what's nice about that is you don't get into trouble in your sim, but in real life, I'm sure you're losing a lot of balls in that stuff, right?
You can. There's so much, and it is this long, wispy. Right now, we've had so much rain, so now is a bad time to look at it. The courses around here that have this kind of rough area, this deep rough area, when your ball goes in there, if you go looking for it, you can't see your shoes. It's so thick. You can't see
Hmm.
below your knees. It's so thick in there. Normally, it's you can see in there, but it's just so dense. It's hard to find anything.
Do you have ticks in Colorado?
No.
No. That's nice.
Yep.
We have them in Pennsylvania.
I think we do. I think we can get some up in the mountains where the
Okay.
pines, but not down here.
Yeah, in Pennsylvania, there's a lot of people that get Lyme's disease from ticks. So if you have grass like that in Pennsylvania, you don't go in it, basically.
Interesting. Yeah, here you can trump through
Yeah.
it.
So the second thing you see here, though, is a lot of houses, and we're going to
Oh,
come back to that, okay?
boy.
Because I kind of have a story along with that, and anyway, but what I want to point out here is one is those T markers are pretty darn cool, and I hope you got copyright, you know, permission before you use those.
I think I did. I think
Oh,
I'm
you did?
covered.
Okay.
Anybody should be covered.
All
One of
right.
us should be
I'm
covered.
just making sure you're just checking. All right. Because I don't know what these guys that do this B2B stuff, but and then you went out and did yourself some custom T signs, huh?
I did. It is. This is going to sound so silly after 2 years of course building or however long. This is the first time I've ever built a custom a T sign, and I actually put their real yardages and everything, and so we'll
So
see.
you
So
got to see what UV mapping is like because you had to
I
go into
did
the
UV
UV map and
mapping.
yeah.
Yep. I had to go into all that. Justin, thank you for the video you posted 2 years ago that I finally got around to watching. It helped a ton. So it was fun. It was fun to actually do some of that work myself for the first time.
Yeah, it's as long as you watch those videos, guys, you can make these T signs. They are not that hard. It just requires you to pay attention to a video, really. Yeah.
It does. It does. Yep.
So now this is what gives me anxiety. And so remember how I said I've been golfing really bad? Well, it all started for me about a month ago when I played a golf course near us called Penn National. And Penn National on a few holes has houses on it. Now, not like this many houses. And I walked up to the tee box and I yanked one left and it went off the side of a house. And then I got up again and yanked one left. It didn't hit a house, but it was over in the houses again. And I just kind of like I just kind of was like, moved forward and I didn't break any windows. I went to the house, I didn't see anything odd, but
you
I hit
walk
a
up with
house.
like walk of shame, your head
Yes.
down, like don't come look at me. I didn't,
Yes. Meanwhile, the guys I'm
please
with are
don't.
like giggling at me. I'm like, dude,
Yeah,
I
please
hate
don't be in the
this.
backyard with
Yes.
your kids on the jungle gym.
But look at this hole. Like 303 out there, and it's just odd because I just posted those. But what do you have? 50 yards left and right? Maybe
Yeah, and
75?
maybe 75. It's actually more right than left. It's more like 50 left and less than that right off the tee, and then about a little bit more right. But I tell you, the red is deceiving. And by the way, this is what we talked about on a previous episode. It's all OB because it's houses.
Yeah.
Like I know most people in SGT hate inner OBs and hate OB, but it's OB. It's a house. It's not a hazard. And it's marked red, so don't be confused. It is not a lateral over there. That is all OB because it's all houses.
Yeah, so I mean, this just terrifies me. I mean, I will play this in the sim. I will do if I come see you. We are not going to this course. I'm going to
Now
tell you right now.
here's a question. I did not add colliders on all of the houses.
Oh,
It
I
was
know that because I
all
ended up inside one.
yeah. So that I was going to ask you a question. Should I have put colliders on for a chance to bounce off the house
Oh,
and back into
absolutely.
play?
I think so. Yeah.
That's what I thought. So I
Yes.
didn't do it
Absolutely.
yet, but I will.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
GSP
I
wood.
think we need to have that chance.
Yep.
Yep.
No, timber. You want to make it timber, right? Timber is the one.
Timber,
Woods,
not
woods
wood.
for
Timber.
trees only. Yep.
Woods for trees. Yep.
So this was 18, this is the one we played together. So this was really fun. Just a lot of water on the left. And the one thing I really liked, I think you really nailed the color. Some people really mess up. I think large bodies of water look different than small bodies than like swamps look different than streams. And I really think it might not come across in this stream, but I really think you nailed the tempo of the water, the color of the water, and the fact that there's no reflection, I think makes sense too.
No,
because that dark water, you don't see reflections because it's not still. So
and it's moving. There's always wind out there. There's always wind out there. There's always waves on it. There is no reflection on that water at all. There's no way.
Yeah. So that was nice. Now, did you do this with House Builder?
No.
Who did this for you?
I'm not telling you.
You don't have to tell me. Someone built this though, right?
No. Oh yeah, someone built this, but you have to look closely to realize what it is.
Okay, well, the reason I didn't look any closer. The reason is I went out and looked at the real clubhouse,
Yeah, so did I.
and it's really close. That now,
So,
but it's slightly different,
yep.
which raised the question for me is, did someone make this custom or is this some from something else?
So you want to know what this is? I will tell you.
Okay.
This is the Valhalla clubhouse. Go back. Go back. But I pulled off the clock tower in Blender.
Okay.
So there was an upper part with the clock tower. And then, in order to make it look closer to the original thing, this is two. It's two Valhallas rotated on top of each other, overlapping in the exact part, so that it looks like it's four wings on it. But the center, it's actually two versions of the Valhalla clubhouse.
I have so much respect for that because I did the same thing on Wilmington Golf Club when I built it. I took two different ones and put them together to
Yeah,
do pretty much pull off the because it was before I learned Blender.
yeah.
So guys, keep that in mind.
And
It's
here's the
brilliant.
worst part: you can't see this from the course. Number
Um,
one,
yeah,
the
you're
only
right.
time you might be able to see it is on 18 green at the
Yes,
right angle
yes,
and 9 green at the right angle.
yeah.
That's it. It is not, none of these holes come up close to it. 1 and 10 are across the street. And so it's really way off in the distance. So I didn't feel like I needed to spend a ton of time building a brand new clubhouse for something that wasn't a feature off of,
Yeah,
when you come up 18 and you're finishing right near the clubhouse, different story.
yeah, 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 yeah. So that was good.
Cool.
And so this was to me also. Now, keep in mind, I flew up in the air to get this shot. And so when I was doing the overhead like flyovers, I think you did a really good job of two things. One is your grass distances were just far enough, and I'm thinking you did this on purpose, that when you
Mm-hmm.
did the flyovers, you didn't
Mm-hmm.
notice that the grasses were building out because the far red line that you see here is the grass where it starts to cull.
Right.
And the only reason you see it here is because I purposely flew up in the air so you could see that line. But in the flyovers, it's far enough out that you don't see that. And then I also noticed that you added a second like density line where you can see right here. So when you're sitting on the tee box, the grass is super dense,
Yep.
but I think you had some performance concerns. So
Yep.
what happens is this is actually a second, you can barely see it here. Beneath this line, this grass is really dense, and farther past this line, it's not as dense to help with performance. And
I
you
duplicated the
barely see
grasses.
it, and you barely see that get built out in the flyovers, which is pretty cool.
Good. Yeah, I duplicated the grasses and I put I tried to figure out where a good line from the tee box would be, right? To make
Yeah,
it dense up close but not hurt performance further out.
yeah.
And quick side story, and I don't want to spend the whole show on this one course, but when I first built this course, I thought, hey, I've got no trees. Basically, there's hardly any trees. So I'm gonna have a ton of tries to play with. So I'm gonna build the first course with not 3DG, but a 3D grass, a three-dimensional grass prefab that I'm gonna put in here. And you and I were talking about this earlier. So I did. I put like 5 nature manufacturer three-dimensional grasses in here. It looked really, really good. And I made them super dense. And I did all this kind of work on it. And then I hit the play button. And we should have like an auction or a raffle to see if anybody can guess how
or
many tries I had.
yeah, or Steve should add some music like a record player
Jeff.
stopping because your frames per second just took a nosedive.
Oh, it was 170 million tries.
New record.
The course.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
And my 4090 Ti, 4090, brand new 4090 Ti was at 7 frames a second.
Was it melting onto the floor?
So I quickly deleted everything out and went with 2D grass. Thank you. Thank you, Rustic Grass Pack.
And then I assume you're not going to do any courses with houses anytime soon
No,
because look at this.
I think I planted
Yeah.
I planted every house in the neighborhood.
Yeah. I wanted to actually bring up because Pac-Man he planted a lot in Mira Vista too. I wanted to bring up another one. I forgot to bring it up next to this so you guys could compare on how many houses. Yeah, that's a lot
I
of
had to
houses.
and I manually planted with.
And
I
this
used a
isn't
big
even
fat
all
pot
of them.
truck.
Honestly, there's
No.
actually more to the right that I
Yep.
couldn't even capture because the fog starts getting a little bit dense when I go this far out. But
Yep.
yeah, that's rough. Oh, and then the nice touch was the neighborhood that's getting built out there, and so we got the stick houses. So
I love
good,
it.
good
I
to,
love the stick house. Whoever put those stick houses in, thank you. I love it. I love it. I think I tried to make it real, and it is. They're building houses like crazy out there. So
yeah, yep. Man, that's what I love about GS Pro. We can do so much stuff like that. Now I did find one thing. Now this is the thing that I think you said you fixed,
yeah,
which was I start. So this is I forget. This is the seventh hole, par three. And I
7
looked out
R37.
and I was like, well, wait a minute. That looks like an ocean out there. Kind of like that. Like there's an ocean. Like there's houses. Then it's like, but like the ocean seems high. So like, but then there's mountains. And it reminded me. I was like, well, it kind of looks like my island on Kapalua out there. But then when I got close, I realized your mountain was just
No,
floating
it's
up off the
floating.
ground.
No, I just raised. I move those mountains around so often. One thing is hard. It's really hard to get scale on mountains from the
It
different tee
is.
boxes.
Yep.
And so, like, I
Mm-hmm.
would literally, like, I would move them, then build it, and then I would in GS Pro, I'd have Unity open and GS Pro open, and then I would go to a couple tee boxes and I'd make some tweaks, and you know what I mean, and go back
Yeah.
and forth, and I obviously just left this one floating.
Yeah, so you tweak this on another hole, and you didn't realize that you can see like the underneath on
Exactly.
7. Yeah, so you just have to
Yep.
drop it probably, few
Yep.
10,
I
100
actually
meters up.
scaled them all down. A couple of the wintry mountains were a little too big, so they've all been scaled down in the update coming.
Yeah, nice. So great course.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Yeah, well
Thank you.
done. And then Golden Ocala, right?
I love this course. So Run Pud Run, another great release from his. Now I will tell you, Run was posting in Discord, and he and I were chatting. Also, this is one he ended up spending a whole lot of time on. Not that he doesn't spend a lot of time on all of his courses, right? But this one
So
became
was
almost
this
like
a
a passion
commission? This is a
project.
commission?
I think this was a commission that he kind of fell in love with. I think it might have even been one of his first Florida type courses, like kind of southern Florida and that swampy area. And I think the way I described it was it kind of became a passion project for him. He put a lot of energy and effort into it, and it shows. Long course, 7,000 from the tips, at sea level, so there's no altitude. It's 5 feet at sea level, and a good mix of tees from 7,000, 66, 62, 55. So really good mix of tees there. So yeah, so let's go in.
So we went from 5,800 to 5.
5. Yeah, we couldn't get more extremes. So this is the first tee shot. I always like to grab the first tee. Custom tee markers. It felt very swampy, and I'm building Medalist right now, the Medalist Golf Club, which is in Hobe, Florida. Similar area, and so I've spent a lot of time in this kind of southern Florida vegetation, and it felt a lot
I'm
like
betting that his client asked for those to be turned towards the ball.
uh,
Because
I
Run
don't know.
Pud Run,
He knows to
he
turn those.
knows to turn them, and I bet the client said, "Nope, I want them facing
Nope,
in."
I want them facing one way. I do feel that it's a little green, a little saturated in the colors on the tee and in the grass, but it's not overly done.
I don't mind sometimes if things are a little like if I turn on it's a little oversaturated, I'll dial it down, because I can like,
Yeah,
but I don't think this was oversaturated to the point where like some
right.
of the new guys, right?
Right. No, not at all. I mean, like I'm now we're now in the min-maxing on the margins here.
Yeah.
I do think the color of his trees though looked great. I think the darker leaf trees with the brown trunks and the pine straw underneath it. I just thought it gave a really good Southern Florida vibe.
Yeah. Looks great.
Yep. And then again, I think this is 6 or 7, the par 3 on the front 9. One thing that Run, we've talked about this in the past, one thing that Run does extremely well is his water, and I'll show you a close up in a second. And this screenshot's a little hard to capture, but he nailed the water. The water looked swampy, kind of brownish flow. The only thing missing were gators. He just needed a couple of gators in the water. And I think it would have
You know what the
been
funny
perfect.
thing is? So I built a couple courses in TGC, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And as like restrictive as TGC is, like you get like 5 clubhouses you can, and so
Yep.
many trees. You know what they did have in there?
Huh.
Alligators. You
I
could
have
put
alligators. I have alligators in my animated animal pack.
Yeah, you can put an alligator in TGC, and I did it on actually on one of the courses I built, even though there's no alligators in Pennsylvania. Just thought it was
I'm
funny.
gonna have to stick some alligator Easter eggs on medalists and see if people
Yeah,
can find them.
yeah,
So anyway, we can keep going. Great shot, great view. There's his water. You can see me taking a screenshot there. It's interesting because the way he did it this time. I don't know if it's all the time. I think the water is pretty darn transparent. It's the
yeah.
floor of the water
And,
underneath the
and and
texture.
we've it's been a while, but I know we used to tell like new builders there's two ways you can color your water, right?
Yep.
One way is you can change the color of the water, the shader color on the water in the inspector for the water. The other thing is make it transparent, but bring the texture
And
up from the bottom, which is what he did here to give it
yep.
more of like a I think this makes it look more like a holding pond, like it rained
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
now and then one but this drains it gets cracked and dried out, right?
And what I also like are the normals. Like, look at the normals
Yeah,
of the mud underneath there. It
yeah,
looks like there's roots under the mud and
yeah.
stuff. Like, I like the way it turned out really, really well.
Yeah, and his water level's perfect too. Like there's a
Yep.
little grass going in. Yep.
Yep. Yep. The bridge work he did was great. I really thought the bridge work here was unique and it blended very well. It looked good with the water. It was really well done. I thought it looked so natural.
Yeah, so it
We
looks
got
like
the
he took a blender bridge and then just put a different texture on it, which you can totally do.
yeah, yeah. And then custom T
There it is.
markers. There it
You
is.
gotta
I
you
had to
gotta
go to the
kind of go
side to get
around to
it,
the
but
side and in on it. Yeah.
yep, yep,
Yep.
yep. And then the next one doesn't look great because I didn't have the wind blowing hard, but it's custom flags to match as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
overall great. I will tell you on a side note, that picture of the flag I think is 18. You see that wall back there on 18? It's one of the disadvantages of sim golf. When I played this in the sim, I cut the corner on 18 and I didn't hit a great drive, but the drive was in play on the side of the fence that we're looking at here. But it was right up against the fence. In real life, I couldn't have swung a club. Like, there's no way to
Right.
get a club
Right.
because the rock fence
Right.
is there. But good old sim golf, I got a full swing on it and put it on the green and made a birdie. So nothing wrong with that.
Yep. And that's why our handicaps are lower in sim golf, right?
Lower in exactly. Yep.
Yep.
All right. Great job, Ron. Congrats on the MPOW.
Yes. Well done. So three MPAL. Well, technically, I guess that's four MPALs this week, right? In a gauntlet.
4
So
MPOWs. We're giving, yeah,
so that's high quality, right? Six courses and four MPALs on
4
a
MPOWs.
gauntlet. Yeah. So good
That's pretty
stuff.
darn good.
Hopefully we
Yeah.
continue going this trend. I like it. So
Me
feature
too.
request of the week. So my first feature request comes from when I first played Mira Vista. So Pac-Man's course this week. I first turned it on and I hit a ball and of course didn't land on the fairway. And it landed in the what I thought would have been rough and it's rolling out and it says semi rough. And I'm like,
Yep.
this has to be a
What
mistake.
the hell is going
I hit
on?
the next shot. Next thing you know, it's semi-rough everywhere. I went into Discord and I see Pac-Man. Someone else had said something. Pac-Man, I didn't reach out directly to you. I did a little research first, and he said that was a request of the client. The client says everything rolls out, but then he went back and changed it. And honestly, it was kind of didn't like it so much that I wasn't even going to consider it for an MPAL. Like it frustrated me.
Mm,
However, my feature request, and I know this is just wish list. We should say wish list of the week, right? Because I know
wish
some of these
list.
things are tough. I would like
No,
different types
everything's a
of
feature
rough
request.
that interact with the ball differently, and this would help something like Pac-Man out. Which is, I'm not saying about necessarily the way like when you hit the penalty that goes off, but when the ball lands, like I feel like right now when it lands on rough, it's kind of sticky. And here in Pennsylvania, when I played for in real life today, it's been pretty dry. They just mowed this morning, and when I hit in a rough today, it was like rolling out a lot. So I guess maybe
So,
like for a designer, maybe it'd be rough one, rough two, and rough three, and have them all have different degrees of like bounciness and rollout.
or maybe the easier way to do it, I think, would be what I agree with you 100% on this feature request. I'm going to tweak it a little bit, okay, if I can.
I know where you're going. I bet I know what you're going to say.
I
Go ahead.
want a percent slider.
Yes, in
So
game,
I want
like
no, well, in no, like in as I'm
for
designing a
the
course
designer or for the player.
for the designer, so that I can say that the rough at 100% is going to do what it does today. But I don't need it to do what it does today. I want to do 80% of what it does today because it's
Yeah.
dried out
Yeah.
more. Or
Yeah.
I want to be able to slide her a little
Now,
bit
is
to
that
where,
on a course basis or a mesh by mesh basis?
good question. Have to think about that. It seems like a lot of, you could oops a lot if it was mesh by mesh versus
Yeah,
the
I
rough.
would say like you could do it on course by course, might be
Like when
fine.
I built Broadmoor East, the rough on Broadmoor East is stupid. Like if you almost can't find your ball in the rough, but it's not deep rough. It truly is not a deep rough. You know what I mean?
Right.
And when I made Broadmoor East all deep rough, I got yelled at because we can't have all the rough be deep rough, right?
Yeah.
So then I made it rough, but it plays too easy because it's not as easy as that if you're off the fairway. So I would love to be able to say, hey, this rough for this course is actually 110% of normal versus, or it's 80% or 70%.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. It's our wish
Or
list.
rough one, rough two, rough
Yeah.
three.
It's probably, yeah, I'm sure it's harder to do than we're thinking.
Did you add my feature request in?
This one?
Yes. So this is my feature request that I need for my current course I'm building, because at Medalist, the tee boxes are so narrow that I built it in the sim today, and I played it in the sim today for the first time, and like 80% of the tees, the tee markers will not fit. The width is too wide. So all I want to do is be able to say, give me
So that,
option 1, 2, or 3, so that I have narrower or wider
well, if that
space
could be
between
another
tees.
feature in Greenkeeper where you just, a slider where you say,
Yeah.
hey, normal, I can make these wider or I can make it more narrow. And yeah.
Or yeah, and in Greenkeeper, maybe instead of the round ball that we put down, maybe we can actually have like 2 that shows the width, so I can see when I'm placing them, are they going to fit in the current tee, or do I need to adjust them a little bit? I don't know.
Yeah. You
So
know what
anyway,
also, and along those same lines, and this drives me nuts in real life, um, if you could rotate them too.
yeah,
Because there's a lot of times when I feel like in GS Pro the tees are always, they're always square to the aim mark, right?
yeah,
And there's lots of times I know in real life in a couple courses I've built that they always are kind of like pointed, and
a little bit
and
there.
it
Yeah.
messes with my head in real life because you want to be square and everything, but
Well, half
um,
the time, the guys who put the tees down don't line them up to the fairway anyway.
no,
They're all,
yeah,
and if you line up
right.
to the tees, you're screwed.
I guess it does. It's more of
Um,
a visual thing. It doesn't really matter functional wise in a simulator. So that's,
Well,
yeah,
what I want though is what you just said though, is like inside of Unity, a box that says rotate 90 degrees. So when I put the mesh down or I put the prefab in there, it just automatically rotates it by 90
yeah,
degrees.
yeah, yes, yep,
That way I can see them without having to go to Blender and reset the, everything.
yep.
Yep.
All right. And then our posts of the week.
Post of the
So
week.
you
I got a
had one and
couple.
I had one. So I didn't really have one until I think last night or this morning, maybe I found this one, which
Yeah.
was, it was a comment of the week. So someone posted, if you look at the top here, someone posted, and this is common. People don't,
Yeah.
they're new to the software, and this is very common that they were in practice mode and they're hitting, and the ball keeps coming back, and like, what. And of course, people chimed in. Are you in practice mode? Ah, yes, I was in practice mode. This guy down here chimes in, yeah, practice mode is
Practice
pretty
mode is
much useless.
useless.
Dude, it's like I might use practice
It's the
mode more than I play like courses, honestly. I mean, when
it
I have
is the
Shanky
best.
lessons, I go into practice mode. When I review courses, if I'm not playing with you, I'll go into practice mode and I'll pick court and I
I use practice mode a lot on to practice long, tight approach shots.
yeah,
Like if I'm sitting, I mean literally 200 yards, 180, 190 yards, I want to be able to hit over and over again to get a feel for,
yeah.
how far out to the right to draw the ball and that stuff like that. I want to be able to,
Or people
versus on a
getting
regular
used
course,
to,
you can't do
yeah,
it.
or people getting used to what deep rough and rough behaves, sand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Another thing is, who I bet would really appreciate practice mode. R Dyer and CE Sim Golf.
I think they appreciate, I think they don't think practice mode is useless.
I would think
I
for the
think you
designers
wouldn't
out there, I
have,
think you'll
yeah,
understand why we're saying that. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
River
agree.
Riverwalk wouldn't be here today if
Wouldn't
it wasn't for
exist.
wouldn't exist if it wasn't for practice
Yeah,
mode.
exactly. So useless.
Yeah,
Useless is a bit. Now he did have a
useless.
smiley. He did have a smiley face at the end of it, so I didn't know whether or not he was just trolling a little bit and was like, it's useless, kind of wink, wink. It's really not, but we'll
Well, I
see.
wouldn't put
I don't know.
smile. I wouldn't put laughing. I'd put a wink, wink if I was. But I don't know.
I
Maybe
would
you're
too.
right. Maybe you're right.
I don't know.
But some other people actually replied to him and said, "Dude," and he never said anything. So I have a feeling he realized he was wrong. Who knows? It's Facebook. And then here's yours. This is not
I
this
love
is a
this.
post, but it's yeah.
This is epic. This is in a good way. Like most of the time we get added. Not you and me. We collectively we all get Facebook because we're all in the same Facebook groups and we all get these most Facebook ads are crap like, whatever. This one's epic. I want a clubhead cover that describes my game. It's a dumpster fire.
Have you
Like,
seen?
this is great.
And I should have added it. There's a company that makes like funny golf stuff, and I can't remember the name of it, but they made a golf glove. Okay,
Okay.
and
I'm afraid. What is this? What does it look like?
these two fingers were pink, and this one was brown. Okay.
Okay. I have
Yeah.
not got that Facebook ad yet in my
I don't want to tell you what I'm looking at. Anyway, um, maybe we'll bring that one for next week.
Bring that one for next week. So
Yeah.
great job on that. I mean, I may have to buy a couple head covers from those guys because I think they were great.
Yeah. Okay. So
All right.
that's it.
We're into the heat of the summer. Not as many courses every week, but that's okay. It lets us play more sim golf and more real golf.
Yep.
And we'll be back next week.
Sounds good. See you, everybody.
Bye, everybody. See ya.
Bye bye.